Welcome to the new closet about to go over. We have a lot of, the contractor grade wiring, things of that nature. Got rid of it all, put a new Allen Roth setup in. And we're going to go over the shortcomings, the lessons learned, and things of that nature. So let's go in and find out about it. We have new vertical shelves, maximize the storage space that the old system didn't allow for. Better lighting than the old contractor grade lighting that was in here. So we can actually see things when you're actually trying to get ready or looking for clothing in the morning. And we're going to have bins up above, help store things, keep things tidy and neat. Things aren't sitting on the floor in other bins or in hampers. And we're going to talk about the shortcomings and things that we found that were missing from the Allen Roth setup, that they seemed like they were lacking in their design. And also, but the big things are, we added a recessed shelf into the closet here in this model of the home, because there was enough space in the wall that was between some ductwork that we could actually put a recessed shelf in. Kept it cheap and simple, went to IKEA. Found the one that fit in there perfectly and made it look good. Also, we have this wire mesh wall that you can hang up multiple things. It's going to be for the little lace purses specifically. It's a great addition, maximizes the space and allows you to store things in multiple locations without really bumping out from the wall and taking away from the wall space and the room space. We also have, from the man in the household, myself, tie hook and belt hook, upper and lower, and using standard knobs for kitchen cabinetry, we made nice little hat hooks. And that's the gist of it. And now we're going to go over some of the shortcomings we found with the Allen Roth setup. The big parts were they didn't really account for corners when you're using their shelves. They had it so the shelves themselves would have a corner kit, but when you had poles, they didn't really account for anything bending around a corner or maximizing that corner space. So you either had to take one to the wall, and when you did that, they didn't have wall end cap or end brackets to mount into the wall and anchor them in unless you had their special adjustable poles. So if you used the standard kit that was designed to work with the shelves, you had to go out and buy them separately, which we found on Amazon, a decent setup, and we could go over. They work perfectly. We'll go over the part numbers in the blog. And also for like lower poles, unless you got their adjustable pole set as well, you couldn't actually put a lower pole in, but then on top of it, it didn't span a certain gap only, and it didn't have any center support options. So it was easy enough just to have their 8-foot poles, buy several of them, cut them to length, and buy our own wall brackets to mount for lower poles. Otherwise, their setup was decent. The only thing with their vertical shelves is that they assume that you're easily able to mount the studs exactly where they want you to mount them. Not always possible, because there's not always a stud exactly where the holes are for the brackets here that are designed to hold the shelf on the wall. There's 2 of them, one upper and lower. So the easy thing was use some different style wall brackets. Recommend to have any of these for the household anyhow. Recommended to use this style that can hold up to 100 pounds per piece. Use these to mount it to the wall, and also then later find a stud and drill a hole through their bracket and mount that through this stud using a countersink bin. You currently puttied over it, so you can't really tell it's there too much unless you're really looking. We're going to go into now talking about some of the brackets and some more about the screws. In all reality, I hardly used any of the screws that they came with for the kit except for a few to mount into the wood for the arm brackets to hold the poles and the shelves up. Otherwise, everything that went into studs, I used the anchors, the screws that came with the anchors, and including even with the wall brackets, I didn't really use the screws that they used because they didn't seem to hold as well. Some of the other ones I had. And So in all reality, probably wouldn't use any of their screws because they're not really designed well. If you're having to use wall anchors and or into studs, I found they just don't hold as good. And they seem pretty cheap. Like, they have a really nice setup, but their screws that they use were like a downfall. Next part, we noticed with these poles, they have these nice rod kits and they have all these things, and they usually put these nice flush edge mounts here that just so your hangers can just fall off the edge. So instead, we noticed that the Rubbermaid system had these little end caps that you can glue in, or you can just stick in and hope they stay, but it seemed better to glue them in so your hangers actually don't fall off the edge when you overpack them. We also, for the corners, shelves to the shelf to shelf, for vertical to horizontal, went out and bought separate L brackets to use. It worked far better than the wall side mounts that they had. And that's the most important thing about mounting it to the wall, is making sure most everything goes into studs, of course. All the wall brackets here, most of the wall brackets except 2 in the whole room were not in the studs, and those I made sure to use 100-pound wall anchors. Those are those large ones I showed earlier. Otherwise, this is the only pole, and it wasn't really needed for support. This is the main one for support on this small distance. This is more just to keep the rod stable when I mounted. This one's the only one it's only used wall anchors. Then we're going to come around and talk about how I mounted the knobs to the wall. You can go out and buy adapters that go from wood screw to knob, machine screw. So it allows you to thread the knob on one end, and then it just gives you a wood style screw on the other end. When you do that, you can actually go, and there's standard like the white wall anchors that I have here that I've gone into the drywall, and then I was able to just hand screw every single one. It's a little bit of a pain, but it takes a little bit of time, but they'll go in, and it gives you a nice sturdy appearance. And I've seen other people try to use the 3M sticky style adhesives to attach knobs and things to the wall. Didn't really like that idea. Just in case, because to me there's things like that that fall off. I mean, granted, hats are not very heavy, but this is much more solid. Each one of these can actually hold probably up to 79 pounds based on the rating. So you can hang other things other than just hats on them if you have other purpose for something like that on the wall. And then the big item is this rack that we found at the Container Store. Probably can find it on Amazon or some other locations, but we happened to go through there and found the exact perfect thing we needed at the moment, so we just bought it then instead of trying to look around. And this allows you to hang S-hooks anywhere you want. I ordered a different style of S-hooks, so I'm going to keep them in a little container or porcelain cup. Allow you to hook different things, different size purse handles can handle it, or you can hang scarves, whatever. Even use this for hats as well. It's just a matter of what you want. Anything you need to hang on the wall and keep it like kind of more flush to the wall, you can do, and it gives you a nice section to hang it anywhere you want, and more random pattern for things that aren't structured for specific sizes. We found that was a really nice addition to this closet to have. We have the recessed shelf. It's a nice addition. It gave us some space. A little bit we had. I mean, there's a duct in this side, and there's actually a duct right here as well that goes for exhaust gas. Found that a shelf is perfect. Instead of trying to hand build one for that size and space, we actually noticed that IKEA had the exact dimensional piece that we needed, so we put it in. Ended up going with the glass shelves, so it allows more light, so you can actually see your items through it, so it's not dark and shadows as much. And then that's a big way to get rid of all that wire racking that they put in here as a standard. Another thing we had was the old contractor light. There's this little crappy little bubble that didn't really put out a lot of light. It was like a really subdued yellow light. It didn't really make it easy to find things and see things here even when it was on. Found this at Lowe's. It was about $129, but it's a really good addition. Gave us 6 new lights. Allows to point in different directions so you can fully light up the closet. That was perfect. I mean, depending on your dimensions of your closet, you might go with a different set of track lighting, something of that nature. That'll work up. Something of that nature will work really well. Having to make sure we left enough space up above, so we can put these little fancy dancy bins. We got it Bed Bath & Beyond. Costs about $8. Our goal is to line the whole tops with them and they keep stuff off the floor and store it away and easy to find. You can put labels on them. We went very much with a nice bear paint. It's a greeny blue. In some cases it looks more like seafoam, but other times it looks like more of a slate. It's supposed to be like a slate blue. I really like the way that turned out along with the wood options we picked. Also a nice addition if you ever have a walk-in closet and you ever found that you've left your light on, you can get one of these motion sensors. You walk in, it leaves it on. You can set a certain amount of time it's going to leave the light on after it's the last time it senses motion. You don't auto turn your lights off so you're not wasting power and things of that nature. It also has a switch where you can turn it off, on, or leave it auto, whatever you like. Like right now we have it on. Probably wondering why we decided to go with the Allen Roth setup. We were looking around, probably could have done some custom shelves or things of that nature, made our own. Really found that what they had, their look and the way they had the finish, it seemed like what we're looking for. Looked at a lot of others, it was actually made of wood versus particle and laminate. That was one reason we went with it. Just gave it a nice cleaner look. Just wish a few things I had were, like I said earlier, the bars. They don't have like a nice curve that you can just go around the corner with the bars. You probably can find some stuff on Amazon that style later that could probably take the corners, but it was a little, depends on your dimensions of what you can do with it. It would just been nice if they already had a solution to handle going around a corner. And also, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, they had, if you didn't use their adjustable bars, you cannot get these little end caps or these end brackets for mounting poles in. These can be found on Amazon. They're great. Single screw with two pins that allow you not to twist when you're putting it in, but you have to drill holes in the right place, and recommend definitely making a template with those, which isn't too hard to do. Just using some paper just so you can line things up. And also invest in a nice couple laser levels when doing things of this nature. Allows you to line up everything beautifully, and we made sure to do that so we have most everything pretty much as square as possible in here as we can. And that was pretty much it. Thanks for checking out the closet.